This week, a man who cleans air conditioners for a living became the loudest human being on the planet. A truck tipped over and emptied several million bees onto one unlucky road. And a butterfly quietly worked out how to stop aging. None of this is invented. We checked twice. You are watching Outlier News, the week's most improbable findings delivered with the enthusiasm they deserve. The data is real. The optimism is optional. We begin in Canberra, Australia, where a part-time town crier named Joseph has just been officially recognised as the loudest human being on Earth. Inside a recording studio, watched by witnesses and one extremely brave acoustic engineer, he shouted the single word, "now," at 122.4 decibels. For a sense of scale, that lands somewhere between a chainsaw and a jet aircraft leaving the runway. He narrowly beat a record that a schoolteacher from Northern Ireland had held, quietly, since 1994. By day, the loudest man alive cleans air conditioners. His actual profession is making rooms quieter. In the world of biology, scientists have found a tropical butterfly that has, for all practical purposes, opted out of aging. The heliconius butterfly can live up to 348 days, while one of its close relatives manages only 14. That is a 25-fold gap in lifespan between two fairly similar insects. More striking still, the long-lived ones show almost no physical decline as they get older. Where most creatures slowly fall apart, these butterflies simply keep going, in apparent defiance of the usual arrangement. The secret seems to be a steady diet of pollen and a firm refusal to acknowledge the passage of time. To Allen, Oklahoma, where a family's home security camera captured the exact moment their dog trotted proudly into the house, carrying a live armadillo in his mouth. The footage shows the entire household evacuating onto the front lawn at remarkable speed, children screaming, all dignity politely abandoned. The dog, sensing the mood had shifted, briefly went back outside without the armadillo, which was arguably the single worst available option. He was eventually coaxed into retrieving it and carrying it back out. The clip has since been watched more than 38 million times. The armadillo wandered off into a neighbour's yard, unharmed, and presumably resolved never to speak of it again. Astronomers have been studying a single meteorite recovered from the Sahara desert, and they now believe it is a fragment of an entire planet that no longer exists. The rock holds crystals that could only have formed deep inside a very large body, one they estimate at over 1,000 kilometers in radius. That makes the lost world possibly as large as our moon, or even Mars. It circled the young sun more than 4.5 billion years ago, before a catastrophic collision shattered it into pieces and flung them across the early solar system. One of those pieces eventually dropped into the Sahara, where somebody picked it up, the last forwarding address of a dead planet. In Michigan, a plumbing crew was called out to an entirely ordinary blocked sewer line beneath a shopping plaza. Inside the pipe, one of them noticed something shiny. It turned out to be a diamond engagement ring that had been dropped down a toilet at that exact spot 10 years earlier. The company posted about the find online, and a worker at a nearby spa remembered the very day it happened. Between them, they traced the ring back to its owner, a woman who, as it happens, has been married for 60 years. A decade in a sewer, and the ring still came home, long before the marriage did anything so dramatic as end. A new study has gone looking for where the very first primates actually lived, and the answer overturns a comfortable image. Our earliest primate ancestors, it appears, did not lounge in steamy tropical forests at all. They lived in the cold, dry, seasonal stretches of ancient North America, weathering freezing winters. Researchers reached this conclusion by examining 479 different primate species, both living and long extinct. Some of those early ancestors may even have endured the cold by slowing their bodies right down, or simply hibernating through the worst of the winter. The ancestors of every sunbathing monkey began as small mammals shivering through an Arctic-style winter. Down in Orange County, Texas, an 18-wheeler hauling roughly 400 beehives tipped over while making a turn. This released a genuinely enormous number of honeybees, with estimates ranging from about 2 million up into the tens of millions, directly onto a quiet rural road. Local authorities did the only sensible thing, which was to ask everyone nearby to please remain indoors. Beekeepers were summoned from across the region to gather up the swarm by hand, a process roughly as calm as it sounds. The driver walked away unharmed. One news photographer was stung exactly once for journalism. And we end, as all great stories do, with dumplings. In Seattle's Chinatown International District, 830 people sat down together on a closed street and ate dim sum at the same time, setting a brand new world record for the largest dim sum gathering ever held. Around 900 people actually showed up, but only 830 officially counted, because the rest committed the fatal error of standing up from their seats before the official head count was finished. 70 people lost their place in history simply by getting up too soon. The city declared it Dim Sum Day, regardless. That was this week in things that are technically true. Subscribe to Outlier News, where the data is real and the optimism is optional. I will be back next week, allegedly.